go. It's Iowa.
From high school to international wrestling, on the mat and beyond, this is the Potentially Dangerous podcast with the guys from IA Wrestle.
If you're a fighter, you like a fight. If you're an American, you like a fight. If you're an Iowa Hawkeye, you know you're going to get a fight.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and all your podcast-friendly apps. And follow us on social media platforms at IA Wrestle. Time to strap it up and get to the show.
Welcome back to Potentially Dangerous. If you're getting a notification that the podcast is brand new, it is brand new. We have not been together since March. Our last podcast was a long time ago, but Ross Bartachek, myself are back. We're going to be talking everything Iowa high school and college, international related here on this podcast. If you're new to this, we welcome you back. We'll be bringing on some coaches and some guests to kind of fill some time when Ross and I can't get together, because Ross, man, I've got a 3 and a 5-year-old and I got another one on the way in February, so my life is going to be really crazy here this season.
Is that breaking news then with the baby number 3?
It is. I guess that's breaking news. It's like the first breaking news I've had of the wrestling season here. So yes, baby Hager is coming in February, the week of the state wrestling tournament. Not good time. But
I'm so happy from a team perspective because I don't know if people really know or care, but my first kid, which I'm not having a second kid, so I should just say my kid, came during the NCAA finals week 2 seasons ago. So I'm just glad that I'm not the only one that's going to have a kid that celebrates a birthday, a really important time of the year.
Yeah.
for our job here.
Yeah. What's the nice thing about Des Moines being, living around this area is I could probably sneak away during the kid's birthday during the day and then, come at night if it, was a Saturday birthday or whatever. So, yeah, I'm super excited. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but we're dads now. I've been through this now for a while, but now your baby girl's getting old. She's got a personality now, or what?
Oh man, she's feisty. She's trouble. But yeah, like I said, man, being a dad, it changes the coverage game. But I think a lot of that first year is figuring out what you do, like how you cope with it, and now we kind of figured out our system. That's usually when people throw a second kid that throws a wrench into your system. You got to refigure everything out. But I'm not planning on doing that, so I think we're ready to be back.
Okay, as long as Ross is in the clear, I think we'll be good to go. I'm kind of a nomad when it comes to coverage here and there. Now with the openmat.com, we are doing a lot of great things there at that. So if you're not familiar with the Open Map, check that out. We just launched a app that you can get interviews from me. Just did one with Kyle Dake. Search Advanced Sports Media. Takedown Radio's not going away as well, but that has moved to Sunday from 10 to 11 a.m. on KXNO 1460, iHeartRadio. But we're thinking about bringing that to a TV format too. So that's going to make the week a little bit busier for me too. But it's going to be easier for people to watch it, listen to it during the week than I think on a Sunday. Sundays just aren't the best times with church, and because everyone here in Iowa are just church-going folks, right?
Yeah, I mean Midwest values, right?
All right. So
I gotta slam you here because you talked about baby number 3 is the only thing you've broken, and I gotta immediately contradict that.
Okay.
Because you did have some pretty big news come out. Was that just over a week ago? You had David Carr on Takedown Radio?
I did, yeah. I think prior to his junior world championship.
Yeah, and so you had him on the program, and you got some pretty good insight into where some of those guys two key guys coming off redshirt, where they're going to fit into the lineup. You kind of want to talk about the conversation that happened on the radio program and what you learned?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were just real kind of curious of, where Carr was going to be fitting in that lineup, where he wanted to go. It's really, I think it's going to be obviously his spot, whoever he goes. No offense to anybody else, but I think everybody else, going to have that mentality that they're going to try to challenge for that spot, but David Carr obviously just won a junior world championship, so he's going to be going 157 pounds for the Cyclones this year, and I heard that Joel Shapiro is just getting beefed up, so he's up to over 200 pounds and continuing to get bigger, so 197 pounds is where Joel Shapiro is likely going to be going this year.
And Joel Shapiro beefing up is nothing new. Didn't he jump from 135 to 170?
Yeah.
His sophomore to junior year.
Yeah, he just continues to grow. Growing up, he was just a little kid too, and I don't know if these are still continued growth spurts or what, or he just can kind of I'm going to go to the weight room and just put on 20 pounds. That's crazy to me, but maybe he's got an awesome training cycle. So, but maybe 197. He's got the reach for it. He's a taller kid. He's real lanky. If he's got the muscle on it, he's got way better training partners now there than he did at Valley. No offense to Valley out there, but we're talking D1 level here. So, moving up from 184 to 97. So I think that's great news for Joel Shapiro fans. Local boy, gonna be great for ticket sales. One thing we've heard at Ryan Anderson, big recruit too. We didn't talk about it on Takedown, but Ryan Anderson, you're obviously I saw the article where Ryan Anderson is no longer with the Iowa State program. You reached out to him. What were kind of some thoughts from him?
He didn't really confirm the reasoning. I think the conversation always leading in was, when he committed, there was a lot of questions, I think, regarding his grades, whether he'd get in. And, it's been radio silent about him since he committed. Everybody was really excited that he was coming. Obviously, he's a big prospect, number 10 in the country last year. And he was a big reason that class was, the sixth best class in the country. So, there was a lot of optimism and if Dresser can actually get Anderson in the program, that it was going to be huge. They thought that, that his unique style would probably play really well into Dresser's development program. And I think a lot of people were hoping that it would happen. But the caveat the entire time of his commitment was, will he actually get into Iowa State? I don't think there was anybody. I don't think it was a big surprise. That's why we didn't run an article that, Ryan Anderson's not at Iowa State, because I think there was always a kind of that question in the back of everyone's mind, is this actually going to happen or not? And, when it didn't, it was it's more of a bummer that it didn't happen. Hopefully, he really didn't want to share a lot of, I think he's kind of bummed that he's not at Iowa State and he didn't really want to expound on it. So hopefully he kind of, lands on his feet somewhere and can work his way back to the D1 landscape, because, being a top 10 guy in the country for your class, last year was a pretty good class overall. He's got potential, and if he could realize it at the Division I level, I think a lot of people want to see him.
All right, so this podcast we're gonna be popping around from each kind of program just to kind of check in a little bit. We're gonna go into more depth next week, but we just kind of wanted to say hello again. We're out there. Make sure you're subscribing. Tell your friends that we're back. So let's move on over to Iowa. Has it been good news here? The great news, hey, who's number one is coming. That's always good for, I think, recruiting and getting those guys on campus that are, committed already, and just to get them around the program a little more. You're going to get that Iowa Hawkeye feel with, kids actually being on campus, so that's always great. But Sokol is, has decommitted, or he's opened up his recruiting process. He's a verbal. How impactful is that? Because they've got a ton of kids at those lower weights. Does it really make an impact at all at this point, or is it a big loss?
I think it is big, but luckily, he's rescinding his verbal, right at the beginning of this school year. Official visits haven't started, so it seems like the recruiting game is getting younger and younger. You're not just targeting the senior class. You're starting to focus on the juniors and even more into that sophomore class. There's more interactions now that the NCAA's expanded their rules. Sokol, I think Flo has him rated as the number one prospect at 149 pounds. And I think there's a lot of question marks. Pat Lugo's the guy this year, but what are they going to do after Pat Lugo? Max Mirren was thought to be the guy, that could maybe move up. But after him, it's like, you start to get some real question marks. So Sokol was kind of supposed to maybe be that guy that could fill that spot. I do know that, there's some mutual interest between Iowa and Caleb Ratchey from Ankeny. Geez, I almost said his name wrong. That's why I caught myself. So there's a mutual interest there. He could be a 49, 57 pound recruit for Iowa. And obviously we've talked about him numerous times. On the IA wrestle standpoint. So he would be a good fit. He's just probably not the name value of Sokol. Yeah.
And I think that will come with Caleb. Just Iowa, I feel like these guys don't get to wrestle some of the big names as much as they should because of the rules, which is possibly going to get changed here soon. So be on the lookout for that. But, I get a lot of questions. I mean, these last 2 weeks is kind of getting me fired up for the season because people are always asking, okay, what's Spencer Lee going to do? Is he getting an Olympic red shirt? I've been telling people what I've heard was, he's going for NCAA title, still going to try to, make the Olympics, but he's not going to take an Olympic red shirt. What are you hearing, Ross?
I think he goes. I think they kind of angled themselves where they're running for this 2020 title. It's been 10 years. The 2020 season, that'll be the 10-year anniversary since Iowa's last title. You've seen the IA Wrestle articles, I'm sure, of that I've put together about that 2010 team, and now we're going through the best of brands at each weight. So it's been a long time. I remember an interview like 3 years ago that Chad Leistokow of the Des Moines Register had with Brands telling them like, hey, it's been like 7 years since your last title. And Brands, pointedly said like, yeah, I'm very aware of the last time I won a title. And so I think, now this team returns 7 All-Americans. It's got a lot of good high-end talent. If, like Marinelli, Lee, DeSanto can be guys that can really finish high for you. We're looking forward to see what Michael Kemmer can do. So I really don't see how you can redshirt Lee, in a year where you got a shot to win a title. And I think the talk is if they can challenge for this year's title, maybe they can, challenge for the 2021 title. So I really think it's in Iowa's best interest to go for national title here. And, we've seen from other wrestlers that making a world team and wrestling an NCAA schedule are not mutually exclusive. So I think it makes sense to just wrestle Spencer this season.
Yeah, I think they've got to have it. They've got to have a national title. We're in a turning point too, where they're trying to raise money for a new facility, which it's gonna happen no matter what. But I think it'd be a perfect timing, obviously, for them to win a national title right now with all that kind of the buzz around it. The Hawkeye Wrestling Club is clicking. The girls' side is great. So I think it'd be a great time for them, obviously, to pull the trigger on this. And I hope they get it done for the state of Iowa. I think Iowa State's going to be really good this year. UNI, the whole landscape of Iowa Division I wrestling is peaked up now since Iowa State has kind of put a great team together. We'll see how they kind of put it all together here. But
shout out to UNI fan base for raising, was it like $60,000 for new wrestling mats?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go up to Waterloo this week. Actually, I'm going to check it out. So we are going to be part of the.
It's on the ground.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying to get up there. Iron Elite Fall Nationals is coming to Waterloo now, and we are going to be streaming that. And there's been talks about us maybe trying to put together maybe a night of conflict, a mini night of conflict at this event mid-October. So this late in the game, we probably have 4 or 5 featured matches. But man, Final X with Derringer and Dake and Yanni and Rutherford putting 1,000 people, 2,000 people in seats for one match. That tells me that fans are hungry for big time matches,
Yeah, and we've seen, tremendous turnout at the War at West Gym, right? Obviously that's a little bit bigger card, but when you give, we've seen the fan support for each guy in our event, that we're selling blocks of tickets because, everybody wants to see their guy with an opportunity, or their gal. We've been putting women's matches, so I shouldn't limit it just to the men. Our high school scene's really strong right now, so that'd be a really cool opportunity.
So be on the lookout for that. So I'm going to go out there and check out those facilities in Waterloo this week. But you and I's got brand new mat coming in. Mat should be rolling down here today. Doug Schwab had a tweet about as a note to our new mats. If you get a chance, check this out at Schwab Wrestling on Twitter. It is it's powerful stuff. Him and Allison just put out a lot of great content. I think just for
they're very open.
They're open, yes, with just their family and everything, and it kind of gives you a light in on the difficulties that a husband has to go through as a coach, and a wife has to go through as their husband as a coach at the Division I level. They don't get to see each other very often, and I think it's really cool that they are open to this, and we need to respect our coaches and our athletes just for what the athletes too. We kind of get caught up in wins and losses, and they're going to classes every single day. Classes are beginning, they're training, and the cycle that they have to go through every year is very difficult. So when I see things on social media, I'm a little bit more, trying to be a little bit more respectful of judging people right away on their decisions, kind of like Sokol, back decommitting. I wasn't a big fan of when Teasdale decommitted. I thought I was raised it a little differently. I caught a little heat for that, but everybody has different reasons of why they decommit. So people like Doug Schwab have opened me up to that type of stuff. So all right, so what else we got going on? So obviously lots of stuff going on at the D1 schools, women's wrestling.
I was just going to say, Lars, this is just quick. So Lars has talked about bringing back the Fab 50. So I wanted to put it on the podcast so that it was public knowledge to keep the pressure on him. Yeah,
Fab 50. If you can get a tweet at him, Lars IA Wrestle on Twitter, shoot him a tweet. Hey, where's the Fab 50? People have been tweeting us, hey, where's the Potentially Dangerous podcast? So, hey, we listen to you guys. We're back. Also, wrestling gear is going to be coming back. I've got fresh new stock of I Wrestle hats. I've got fresh new stock of T-shirts, and Willie Nelson T-shirts are back, so I've got those too. So I'm hoping to get a store up here soon, and then we're going to have the season pass out this year too here soon, so be on the lookout for that. But man, I think we should put a bow on this one here, Ross, and just kind of we want people to want a little bit more. So this year we've always been an open book here at IRL, so we want people to give us feedback. We want new and fresh stuff. We're going to try to do some all-class rankings this year. I think that's going to be something that we're going to try to do. We've done the Fab 50, right? But we're going to do 103 pounds, the top 5 from all 3 classes, almost like how we do at the end of the year, we do an all-state team, but we're going to try to do that once a month maybe. So that'd be something new. But if you got ideas, shoot us a message. The high school stuff and the college stuff. You got anything new planned on your end, Ross?
Just kind of working through this, this Iowa 10-year anniversary. And I do want to add, we're always looking for, people that want to do content for us, Western Iowa. We catch a lot of heat from you Western Iowa folks. We don't want to forget you. It's just kind of a little bit harder when you don't have somebody specifically in that area of the state. So if you're a Western Iowa person that wants to cover the state of, that area of the state, hit us up. Facebook, Twitter. There's multiple ways to get in contact with us, and we can get you situated on IA Wrestle, covering some events for us.
Yeah, the state tournament, we always get just hounded. Western Iowa doesn't get enough coverage. Okay, well, here's another opportunity. We've said this multiple times. Please help us out. We are a site that is almost all volunteer. We raise enough money to take us, we go to these events, pay some of our photographers, but we want someone that's passionate out there. This year we are going to be streaming a lot more events, and hopefully we can help you out financially to kind of get to those events. So if you're on board to go to more events in Western Iowa, we want to hear from you. So.
And maybe next week when we come back, or the next time we reconvene, we should talk about how Nick Ryder is wrong about Breaking Bad. Because I saw you guys tweeting about the new Breaking Bad movie that's coming out in October, and we definitely need to talk about how Nick is wrong if he's not a Breaking Bad fan.
He is so far off. How can you? That's the worst take on Twitter this week is Breaking Bad not being how? You mean you could binge Breaking Bad again? I might just binge and watch the whole thing again leading up to the new show. We want to know what's going on with Jesse.
Yeah, so we'll save our ripping him to shreds, but I definitely saw that take and I was like, we got to bring him to task. So.
Perfect. All right, well, this has been a little bit of a teaser episode of Potentially Dangerous. I want to try to go live again with this thing. People like that live on Facebook, so if there's a time, too, that you like to listen to us, hit us up on Twitter. Our DMs are always open. Love to hear, get some feedback from you guys and girls as we move into the 2019-20 season. This has been another episode of Potentially Dangerous with Ross Bartachek and Tony Hager.
Get low when the whistle goes.